Another Benghazi report has been released, this time by the House Intelligence Committee, that concluded that there was no intentional wrongdoing on the part of the administration in response to the attack on our consulate. Okay, case closed, right? Well, the report, led by House Republicans, that was recently declassified, and once again, it basically said there was no merit to any of the right-wing conspiracy theories about Benghazi. There was no stand-down order, etc., right? Well, there you go. As Media Matters puts it, the report is a clinical point-by-point refutation of the Benghazi hoax Fox News has pushed for about 2 years. Now, what does Fox News have to say about it? Not a whole lot. That is, except for Brett Baer, who did mention the findings, and let's take a look at that.
A member of the House Intelligence Committee says its long-awaited report on the Benghazi terror attacks reaches non-controversial conclusions similar to those of other probes. California Democrat Adam Schiff says the report indicates, quote, the initial talking points provided by the intelligence community were flawed because of conflicting assessments, not an intention to deceive, that there was no stand-down order, that the diplomatic facilities lacked adequate security, and that our personnel at the scene acted bravely and appropriately. The response from Republican Jason Chaffetz, quote, the Select Committee should prove to be the definitive word on the Benghazi terrorist attack. Still, the public has never heard from anyone on the ground in Benghazi. Ambassador Susan Rice and others need to testify for a conclusive report.
Oh, so Fox News, while mentioning the report, says, well, yeah, but we have to wait for the Select Committee to make a final determination. Because we still know there are still things that we don't know. Now, there are some videos and stuff of O'Reilly recently on a show. Fortunately, I couldn't get those in time for you tonight, where he's like, we still don't know about Benghazi. We still don't know about Fast and Furious. The Americans still have questions. How many more, and this is the question, how many more investigations and committees will they do to continue to keep on flogging this dead horse of Benghazi?
Do you want me to answer that?
Please.
Oh, sure. The same number that it'll take to appease the 9/11 truthers. 0. Because there's nothing that will convince them. Simple. End of story. They're convinced there's wrongdoing. It doesn't matter what comes out and says there isn't any wrongdoing. They will still believe it because they think there is, to the point where they will. Everything that contradicts it is part of the conspiracy. It's the ultimate irony that and this traditional trap of all conspiracy theories. The people who think they're being open-minded in supporting them are actually being just as close-minded as people who will refuse any contrary opinions at all on the side of the official story. So that's your answer. This will convince nobody because the only people who are actually asking questions have already convinced themselves that there's already a scandal and a cover-up, and there's nothing that will change their minds on that. Everyone else has moved on from the story because they realize it's bullshit, or they stopped caring.
The point of the Benghazi scandal now is just to have a bunch of investigations so that when Hillary runs for president, they're going to say, look at how many investigations we had to do of Hillary Clinton when she was at the State Department. Like, it's not really, it's basically a default scandal that they're keeping in their back pocket. Like, they actually don't talk about it right now because of the kids at the border and the Ebola that's going to get all of us, although it's not really. So, like, the whole point of it is to have 27 investigations to say, look at how many times we had to investigate Hillary Clinton. Like, that stupid, ignorant head of the State Department cannot be president. 27 times.
Yeah, I think Nick's point in regards to the crazies, they're never going to believe any report that ever comes out from the government. They're never going to be kind of satiated with any facts that are given by the government. But I think the thing is, it's kind of what Sean was saying, is that what the entire Benghazi scandal, it served its purpose now. What the Republicans have done, they've, for want of a better metaphor, they've loaded their gun, sort of thing, that's aimed at Hillary, their metaphorical gun, and then they're going to wait for the 2016 election, rather, when she runs, and then they can fire off that Benghazi bullet, and then hopefully kind of cause a dent in her kind of popularity ratings. That was the whole purpose that it served, to damage her a bit now, and then to save it up, and then they can fire it off again later on in the next couple of years' time.
I think they also have another purpose here, and that's, I believe they're fundraising off Benghazi, which once again is also pretty horrendous. You're fundraising off the corpses of 4 dead Americans. The same 4 dead Americans that you claim to care so much about and want to investigate, you're fundraising off them. It's ridiculous.
Well, and the answer, there was a tell there in that Fox News clip. So what they say is, well, they don't report it like this. They don't mention that this is the umpteenth report investigation committee that's shown there's no conspiracy here, and that all their talking points are blatantly false. But they do report, finally, in one little segment, that this happened. Now, before I get into my main point, I want to point out, like, an actual IRS scandal broke. We just covered it in the last segment. Nah, no coverage on Fox News. So yeah, the Intelligence Committee, excuse me. So actual scandal breaks. No segment. Wild speculation about Benghazi. Before all these committees had come out, before all the proof had come out. 255 segments on Fox News over the course of 2 weeks. Actual scandal, no coverage. Actual proof that there is no scandal, no coverage. Wild speculation, 255 segments in 2 weeks. Now that's both an indictment of their agenda and the news. I mean, obviously CNN drives all of its ratings off of speculation about things that are, I guess, more harmless, but whatever. It's the way news works in America. So there's 2 big problems here.
Especially if you're a 24/7 news station and you have on the air, like, I don't know, report something.
But so the tell here, and where I really want to bring it to is where he says, that they're going to wait for the select committee, for the final word on this. That's when they'll stop reporting on it. Except I don't know that it is when they'll stop reporting on it, because there's a difference here. You've got the Intelligence Committee. We've had the other reports by the State Department, the other committees. These are all committees made up of fallible human beings who have political ideologies that may influence their findings, but for the most part, the Intelligence Committee is made up of senators and congresspeople, depending on which house it's in, that are respected by the intelligence community or have a pedigree in that. We don't really take that approach with our science community or committee for some reason, but whatever. And so, like, these are people who ultimately, although we may disagree with them, that committee exists to perform a function. And so that is their goal, and they come at it from different angles, and they fight, and they bicker, and they make bad decisions. But the Intelligence Committee is there to figure out what's going on with intelligence mishaps and other things like that. And so what they did when they did their job, as objective and honest as you can expect from a politician in this day and age, what did they find? Even the Republicans, who lead that committee, by the way, all right, no scandal, you guys were right. The Select Committee, however, the one that Fox will ultimately defer to by their own admission in that clip, is one that is handpicked and created with an agenda. It is not a committee that exists to look at things. It's an ad hoc response to this. So not only are they picking people, and let's keep it real, they're picking people based on what they know they're going to say, but they've also, because it's Republican-led, have got lopsided funded. So the Democrats on the Select Committee have a lot less funding to do their work and research to defend what will unfortunately be the Democrat position versus the better funded Republican position. So neither side's looking for truth. Each side's looking to defend itself, and one side has a lot more money, and it's a committee created for this for this arbitrary struggle. It's not created for truth. And I'm pretty sure it might be the first committee that doesn't come down with such a neutral ruling. And that's the one that Fox says they're going to listen to. Man, I'm telling you, they're evil geniuses, and we keep getting caught up on whether they're trying to drag Hillary or Obama through the mud. And the fact of the matter is, like, they don't care. It's redirection. It's misdirection. They're accomplishing exactly what they want to accomplish, and we are falling for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Select Committee on this one, because that's a really, really the important point that I was really hoping you would bring that up, and you delivered, and that's awesome. Because, once again, yeah, they are handpicked. stacked in favor of Republicans, not just normal Republicans, but Daryl Issa and all the crazy ones are being put on that select committee to argue that nope, you know what, there was a cover up, so they can fundraise off of it, so they can, whatever they want to do, whatever misdirection they're using this for, they're going to probably achieve it because already, they've done a good job at muddying the water over this whole thing. And so when a report comes out, you have that, I shouldn't believe that government report, because then you've got, Fox News saying that it's not true. We got to wait for the select committee because they're the only ones that are looking for the truth.
That reluctance to believe a government report is a very old sort of thing. They've just been capitalizing on it, which is, I would argue, even more egregious than them trying to actually start it. But no, that existed all throughout the 9/11 conspiracy theory crap. It existed throughout various instances involving Vietnam and all sorts of other older conspiracies, JFK as well. So it's a very, very old and classic conspiracy theory tactic to say, well, that's obviously biased because it's a government document. And it's often missing facts and used as just a simple excuse to brush away every evidence and every bit of conclusion, or every conclusion and every bit of evidence that has ever been published in that report, despite the fact that it's usually pretty legit. In addition to that, I just wanted to say that I thought Sean earlier raised probably an excellent point, and I think Jordan's point too is a great one as well. Jordan, no, he did. Don't give me that crap. Jordan also raised an excellent point too, that they've won already because they made money off of it. But even still, Sean, I think, is right in correctly identifying that this isn't necessarily an attack on Hillary Clinton per se. It's the accumulation of investigations that will be used against her as leverage, like that. In this case, a quantity equals quality attack, and I think he's right about that. It definitely will come up that way. So.
I think just to go back to Jeff's original question of how many more of these committees are we going to have? There's another reason why there's not going to be any more. Okay, people like Daryl Issa, they've raised money off of this, but come the next election cycle for him, both more crazy right-wing Republicans in the Tea Party and Democrats will be able to point at all these investigations that he's done and go, look, he wasn't able to find anything. He had to try and find something because that would make him look better. The fact he's failed at his job, as what many people on the extreme right and on the left will see, he's failed at his job. That could potentially turn into attack ads for him, which he doesn't want. So that's why Fox News is going to generally support the more mainstream Republicans. They don't want to talk about this failure of the mainstream Republicans to somehow damage the administration. That's another reason why there's going to be no more committees, no more talk about this on the mainstream media.
All right, so I kind of want to end this segment on this. I just want to, and you guys make a lot of great points, and I'm going to reference some of these in closing. At the end of the day, I agree that no matter how many investigations they decide to waste money on, they're not going to find anything substantive because there's nothing there. But the important point of this is trying to fire up the base against Hillary. I think this is one of the main things. You're trying to raise money and you're trying to load just load the base, stack the base against Hillary, which they're going to be against Hillary anyway because they're Republicans, they're a Republican base. So that's pretty much it. That's sort of the plan that they're using to go after Hillary. Now, my opinion is, and my opinion on the whole thing with Hillary is I have 99 problems with Hillary, but Benghazi ain't one of them.